white photography is easy. It's easy to fall in love with. I got some of you there. You were about to type in the comments, raging how black and white photography is just as hard as shooting in color. And over the weekend, when I was in Manchester doing the same, I would agree it's not super easy. It's a different type of photography. But there was a couple of reasons why I decided to shoot in black and white. I then decided to write a blog on it because I felt quite passionate about it. And now I'm making a YouTube video talking about it. I've often steered away from black and white photography. I think maybe because I haven't grown up in an era where black and white photography was the norm, or I've just never really thought about incorporating it in my photography that much. Sure, when I was starting out, I used to sometimes make my photos black and white, but that was due to laziness. That was because I couldn't be asked to color grade them. And I just thought, stick a black and white effect on them and they'll look absolutely fine. With that said, I have had a custom recipe in my X-T5 for a couple of months now. I've kind of kept it in there just in case I ever thought I'd like to try black and white photography. And I was starting to wonder, maybe should I get rid of it, because I never shoot black and white. If you look at my Instagram or on my website, I never shoot anything in black and white. The closest I come to kind of black and white photography is using the spot metering mode, where of course you're crushing those shadows and really emphasizing light, which of course black and white photography you have to focus on because it's no color, but there's always some color involved. It's not obviously completely black and white, but that's the closest I ever come to shooting true black and white photography. So what changed? Why did I decide over the weekend in Manchester to shoot black and white photography? Well, really simply, it was such a dreary day. For anyone not in the UK at the moment, I don't think since the start of the year there hasn't been a day where it hasn't rained, it's felt like. It's just been so dreary at the moment. And Manchester itself, again, for people who have not been to Manchester, unless there's a lot of blue skies and light, depending on where you go, it can be dull. And the city is a vibrant city, but it can be dull. There's lots of muted buildings and tones and not a lot of color. So mix that with rainy, dreary, cloudy skies, and I just didn't feel very inspired when it came to any of the Fujifilm recipes that I'm currently using. Even thinking about editing them, I just didn't think there were the colors there. So I thought maybe this is the perfect opportunity to try this recipe. I shoot in JPEG plus RAW anyway, so what the hell if I end up hating the black and white? I've got the backup of the RAWs. So I set out, did 26,000 steps and shot all across Manchester in black and white. And this is what I found. Firstly, let's talk about black and white photography. By its very nature, there is of course no color to your images, but with that removes a lot of unwanted distractions, or that's what I felt when I was shooting anyway. And it was helping me to focus on other aspects of my photography. I think as photographers, you don't want to get too niche down into shooting a particular thing or a particular style. You should always be open. And I felt this weekend was a great just refresher for photography. So take out color. I need to think about things like my subjects, my compositions, looking more at any harsh lighting that was available or any soft lighting that was available. And this was great because it took an element of photography, which was color, out of it and introduced other things that were more prominent in the scene because you didn't have color to kind of rely on. There's an example of what I'm talking about here with a photo that I took in Chinatown. Now, I didn't realize it was Chinese New Year when I went. It was not the intention that I was going at Chinese New Year, but it just ended up being. So there was a lot of buzz around and a lot of stalls and people selling food and items and all sorts of craziness going on. It was definitely very chaotic, but as a photographer, that's absolutely fantastic. That's when you get some of your best pictures. Now, the photo I've got up on screen, I think demonstrates what I've just spoken about really nicely. By stripping back color, you allow the chaos of life to unfold. By stripping back this photo up on screen now of all of its color, in my opinion, really helps to bring the photo to life, really helps to give it character that it maybe wouldn't have. And I know this because I've looked at the raw and it doesn't look near as good even after doing some editing. Like I've just mentioned, I think by stripping back the color of the photo, it makes you hone in on the other aspects of the photo, such as the two very prominent figures in the scene, shot from two extremely different perspectives, which of course asks a lot of questions. And as a lot of photographers will tell you, photos should always ask questions, but I think they should really make the person work for the answers, if the answers in the photo at all. I think this photo also, because it is shot in black and white, really helps to bring out the chaos of the scene. It's very obvious from looking at the photo that it's taken in a market, and it's clear by one of the subjects in the image that there's some sort of cooking going on, so they're clearly in some form of market, and we're by a food stand. But it asks some questions. We don't know what he's cooking. Is he busy? I mean, by the image, he looks completely focused on what he's doing, so we assume that it's very busy. And again, that's where it draws the other subject into focus. What is she doing there? Was she simply just someone that passed by my camera lens at the right moment? Is she waiting for food? Does she work there? It's all these kind of questions that you end up asking because you've stripped back one element of the photo, which is color. Also, last weekend focused me to start thinking about contrast. And I don't mean color contrast, of course, but tonality contrast, the difference between light and dark. I've already spoken about the fact that spot metering is one of my favorite tools to use. I absolutely love it. But black and white photography, of course, takes this to a whole other level. It's the way that shadows hit the highlights, the way that a person in a dark coat can stand out in contrast to a big pale white background is unique to black and white photography. And in my opinion, when you remove color, you don't remove any depth to the image. I think you just need to find it somewhere else. And it was really cool to experiment and just enjoy taking photos. I almost felt like it was all brand new again. Take this portrait of my gorgeous girlfriend, for instance, that I took in a cafe that we were having during lunchtime. We were actually just trying to stay out of the rain for a bit. I was not prepared for the rain. The rain was prepared for me, however. But moving back to the photo, if we start examining it here, obviously we've got some soft light coming from the window on the right because it's not a sunny day. So you've got lovely soft light, like a diffusion layer, nothing dramatic. In color, of course, it would have been quite nice sort of pleasant skin tones and warm sort of interiors. But in black and white, it's all about the light on her face. That is what we're focusing on, and that is what I really love about this image. It's things like the light in her eyes or the subtle shadows around her cheekbones. For me, it just simplifies the whole image so nicely. You're not thinking about anything else like what color her jumper is or what color are the lights behind her. You're looking at her expression, you're looking at her light, you're looking at the tone, which is really special. And this was a pattern that I kept noticing across the whole weekend. Shadows, patterns, textures, and lines became so much more important in every image I was trying to take. And it became subconscious, even just from shooting all day. I think architecture, especially when it comes to street photography, is as important as anything else. And shooting in black and white, again, to no one's surprise, changed this perspective. In Manchester, there, especially with the newer buildings, there are more colourful buildings all the time being put up, whether it's sculptures or squares or just new buildings. However, like I've spoken about, using black and white photography or shooting in black and white, of course, strips all that back. So you're more focused on other scenes. And I always love how people interact with these concrete jungles or trying to capture those little moments. And the image that I'm going to pop up on screen right now, I think does that really nicely. You've got a glass building with a figure right at the corner, right at the perfect point for this shot. The whole frame is about lines and symmetry. In color, I feel this image, and I know that this image is not as satisfying to look at. You've got quite a dull grey building because it's all glass. It's just reflecting on what's behind it and what's above it. And that, of course, is grey. So you would have just had grey on grey. And the gentleman in the shot wasn't wearing any bright colours. So it would have been a very kind of washed out image. But with all these kind of, like I said, lines and glass and panels, it's just very pleasing to the eye, which the black and white filter helped bring to life. And it's just something that I realized that shooting in black and white this weekend really made the photography trip for me in Manchester. It was so rainy, it was so dull with the muted streets. Normally, I'd get quite frustrated or maybe want to wait for golden hour or just, as soon as the sun came out, rush back out of my hotel room and go and try and take some photos. You, of course, want color in your images normally, but, wintertime, February, it's its own type of color. Like, for instance, this photo of umbrellas lining up outside in the rain. You've got reflections on wet pavements, people hunched in coats. It already feels like quite colourless, so I would strip back the colour anyway. When I photographed a group under umbrellas, the scene wasn't about bright tones, it was about repetition. The shape of the umbrellas, the way they kind of merge into each other and become one thing. The contrast between people's dark coats, people often wear black coats, and the brightly coloured umbrellas with the rain streaking down in the background. I think potentially on a nice sunny day, this would be a great photo to have in colour, but I think if I'd shot in colour on that particular day, it would have really distracted from the scene. And I think the same goes from street photography in general. Whilst I'm not an expert when it comes to street photography is always going to be about the human element, the human condition. It's about moments, expressions, body languages, features. That's what you're trying to capture. Of course, brightly colored objects are awesome, but street photography, that's really what it's about. For example, took a gentleman here. He's clearly works in one of the kitchens in Chinatown. Now, again, if this photo was in color, I think he might have not stood out as much as he did. Again, a lot of people are wearing black, and you've obviously got those muted highlights behind, but he really stands out in the scene to me. And again, asks a lot of questions. Is he on his break? Is he waiting for someone? The image to me becomes a lot clearer. And I just love his posture. I love the way that everyone behind him is kind of just fading away. People are just flowing behind him. I really love it. Another example, and again, this was in another market, was a small rectangular mirror that people could obviously look at when they were trying on clothes. Here I've got it reflecting someone's face. I didn't actually want to get a crisp photo. I kind of wanted to be slightly blurry to kind of reflect the fact that it was raining, so everything felt a bit sort of blurry and not so clear. So I'm really lucky that I managed to capture that in this image. And I think the fact it's black and white helps to really calm down the image, which is really nice. Again, if it was in color, it might be a bit of a dull image, but because you've just got black and you've got the polythene of the white, again, it really simplifies the image really nicely. And I also realized another thing when I started shooting in black and white last weekend. A lot of people shoot in color and then convert to black and white. But I think I realized, and this is the power of Fujifilm and using their recipes, is you really need to shoot for black and white. There's definitely an art to it. Whether you're going to edit the RAWs anyway, I think you want to shoot for black and white if you're going to. So I think also you have to start asking yourself, and this is something I do in my photography, is I'm constantly asking myself questions because the answer is the photo that I'm taking. And that was no different with the photos I took over the weekend. So you're asking questions like, where is the light coming from? What is the darkest part of the frame that I'm currently looking at? Where is the brightest? And is there enough separation between them? And the more I was shooting, the more this kind of thing was feeling natural and it was feeling less alien, because black and white photography did feel very alien to me before last weekend. It definitely started feeling more intentional. Like I said, I don't worry about editing my photos heavily or if at all, because of course I was already using this black and white simulation, so I didn't feel the need to be editing these photos afterwards, or I never went in with the intention of editing them. So I could see all the tones through the viewfinder or through the back of the screen and adjust my exposure to fit that, which was really nice. And again, you can mess around with it. Sometimes lean more into the shadows, sometimes lean more into the highlights, have some fun with it and mess about. But it helps to keep it simple. So I hope this video has been a little bit inspirational. If colors aren't speaking to you with a particular scene you're looking at, maybe think about shooting for black and white. Force yourself to look at other things rather than color. Look at light, look at shape, look at textures, people, and don't just hold yourself back to the fact that you need to shoot in color. There's a wonderful simplicity to shooting in black and white that a lot of people, especially my generation, never grew up with and will never experience. But anyway, I hope everyone has enjoyed this video. If you want to check out the Fujifilm recipe itself, I'll have a link to it on my website where you can click on it and view it for yourself.